Hello, this is Crystal Racing with a report on Robert Kubica, and apparently the Polish driver is looking at a development role at Ferrari for 2019. As it is still not confirmed who will be driving in the second seat at Williams, as latest news has arrived that Esteban Gutierrez is looking at finding sponsorship to get the second seat at Williams for 2019, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on. Do you understand what's going on? I don't. So, let's move on. So, I mean, as it stands, Robert Kubica is still looking around for Polish sponsorship money. Of course, there are all rumours that he's got about $10 million in sponsorship funding, but of course, because the rich energy deal that for Williams looked like they were going to sign for 2019 fell through, because of course Haas went to Williams' story and said that that he could sponsor Haas for less money, meaning that Rich Energy will be putting their logos on the Haas car for 2019. That means that Williams will need a very well-funded pay driver for 2019. And amazingly, Esteban Gutierrez looks like he could be the favourite to get the Williams second seat alongside George Russell, which, in my opinion, is a complete joke. And I'm sorry to say this, Kubica fans, it could well be a bare thing for Robert Kubica to try and get the Ferrari development seat and become their test driver, because that could lead to Robert Kubica getting the Haas seat in 2020, where he has a chance to replace either Romain Grosjean or Kevin Magnussen if one of those two underperform next season. So now I'm going to move on to my Mexican Grand Prix review and the Crystal score. And yes, Max Verstappen was the driver of the day with 10 points. A brilliant drive. Yes, Lewis Hamilton did get his nose out in front up in the run down to turn 1, but Verstappen managed to outbrake him, and from that point onwards, he got away. He never looked like he was going to get threatened, and of course, because of the high altitude, it meant that a Red Bull, well, Max's Red Bull in particular, looked like it was never under threat, and of course, 17 seconds behind him was Sebastian Vettel, who, due to his poor qualifying down in 4th place, quite frankly, he spent a lot of time stuck behind Ricciardo and Hamilton. Whilst Max gets 10 points out of 10, Sebastian Vettel only gets 9. But he did put in a very good performance, I have to say. Yes, he was kind of fortunate that Daniel Ricciardo broke down, but still, he pulled on an amazing fight. In 3rd place was Kimi Räikkönen. 7 out of 10, yes, he qualified 6th, and he was on a one-stop strategy where he had to make the super softs last 50-odd laps, but it was a decent performance, and Kimi can hold his head up high, because at least he finished well clear of the 2 Mercedes, who I will go on to next. And yes, the new world champion Lewis Hamilton gets 6 out of 10 points with his performance today on Sunday, I mean, because he went off the track a few times. He wasn't able to look after his tyres well. Of course, there is something more to do with Mercedes, but still, not a very champion-like performance once again for a second year in a row here at Mexico. Last year, he got whacked into by Sebastian Vettel, where because of the damage sustained to his car, he really struggled. But this year, I don't know. I suppose this year was better because at least he was able to keep his car on the track. But of course, when he started his final lap, he was only actually 2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who had the checkered flag flying out for him. And then, of course, in 5th place was Valtteri Bottas, the reject of the day. 5 out of 10. Yes, I know Mercedes had real problems, and I know that for some reason Mercedes decided to pit both Hamilton and Bottas for hypersoft tyre. Was it? I think it was. Yeah, another. They made them pit for a third time towards the end of the race, meaning that they had to go on the ultrasofts again with only 15 laps to go. Well, not 15 laps. It was 10 laps to go because of course the virtual safety car came out for Daniel Ricciardo's stricken Red Bull, but. Really, though, I mean, they were nowhere. They were absolutely nowhere towards the end of that race. And yes, I know it was obvious the car had a problem, but really, though, my God, Bottas, he got lapped in a Mercedes. Just let that sink in for a moment. Valtteri Bottas got lapped in a Mercedes. That is absolutely dreadful. That is a joke. And yes, I know doing an extra pit stop did not help the team, but did not help the drivers, but really, come on, Valtteri. I mean, you're not helping. I mean, he did sign a 1 year plus one contract for 2019 and 2020, meaning that Mercedes can get rid of Bottas at the end of 2019 without having to pay any compensation, which, quite frankly, shows how justified they would in signing that contract. However, if it was up to me, I would have sacked him at the end of this year and brought in Esteban Ocon. So, yeah, Mercedes really do have a very poor number 2 driver there. In 6th place and 2 laps down was Formula 1.5 winner Nico Hulkenberg, who gets 9 points out of 10 after another brilliant drive for Renault. Of course, Nico Hulkenberg, of course, there were 2 laps down. Of course, the altitude did actually help Renault produce a pretty fast lap times in practice, but as it was, I think tyre wear really was a problem for the lower teams because, of course, the aerodynamic efficiency for most of the midfield cars is a lot worse for them than it is for the cars at the front. Leclerc finished 7th. Good performance again. 7 points out of 10. Of course, he did get a bit of help from his team, though, who deliberately messed up Ericsson's strategies just so that Charles could finish in front. 8th place was Stoffel Van Dorn, who is probably... Well, this could well be the last time he ever scores points again in F1 because, of course, he drove pretty well today, I have to say. It's a shame that he's not going to get another chance for next season because I can't help but think that if you put him in a team where the car runs fairly well and he's away from Fernando Alonso, I can't help but think that Stoffel Van Dorn might be a good driver. But, of course, that's life. And, of course, he'll be off to Formula E for next season. 9th place was Marcus Ericsson, 8 out of 10. Decent performance for Sauber, but of course he had to deal with having to lose places through Sauber trying to get Leclerc up the order. It worked out pretty well for the team, but of course Ericsson will be disappointed at not getting at least 8th place in a car that was very good on the day. Pierre Gasly gets 8 out of 10 points. He's the last point scorer for Toro Rosso. Starts in 19th. Brilliant drive through all the traffic. No more to be said. Esteban Ocon, for me, gets... Well, he gets 6 points. He gets 7 points, actually. It was a very scrappy race from the Frenchman. He made a few errors, although I have to say... the Force India didn't look that quick at all. And... well, considering all the problems, I mean, all the handling issues, I mean, I can't blame him, although, of course, his teammate did outpace him until, of course, Sergio Perez was forced to pull up with a problem. 12th and 13th place was Lance Stroll and Sergei Sorokin, 7 points each. Well, at least they were not rubbish today, that's all I'm going to say. 14th was Brendan Hartley, 5 points. Goodness me, his driving was all over the place. And, I mean, he got, well, of course, he did hit Ocon early on, so that meant that, really, quite frankly, I mean, to be honest, I know he's pissed off at the fact that he won't be in F1 next year, but he is making it a bit, well, quite frankly, he knows that none of the other teams really want him, so But having said that, though, I mean, where could he go next year? Is he going to go to IndyCar, sports car? I don't know. Kevin Magnussen gets 6 out of 10 points. The Haas car was just absolutely terrible on Sunday. And his teammate Romain Grosjean, who finished 16th and last, gets 5 points out of 10. The only runner to finish 3 laps down. Quite frankly, extraordinary. But of course, we all know Romain Grosjean doesn't know how to drive a ill-handling car. First of the retirees was Daniel Ricciardo, who gets 9 points out of 10 for his performance today. It was not his fault that the car broke down. That Red Bull team are, completely fiddled with his settings from the start. They totally ignored him, and he struggled throughout the race. And quite frankly, I don't blame him for being absolutely furious and saying things like, I'd rather let Pierre Gasly drive the car for the last 2 races, because to be quite frankly honest, the way Red Bull are treating Daniel Ricciardo is absolutely sickening. It's a complete joke, and it's an absolute farce. And the 3 other retirees, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, will not be scored points today. That means that today's scores will not go to their end of season points average for the Crystal score. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.